Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. A few weeks ago, I did a podcast standing at the window. I think it was just before Christmas, and I had some feedback that you all enjoyed it. So I'm going to do the same again today. I'm going to describe what I'm seeing standing at the window so that you're able to catch different descriptive terms. So, first of all, I can tell you that it's very, very wet outside. The rain is bouncing off the pavement. As we say in the UK, it's raining cats and dogs. It's a nice proverb for you to remember. The grass is green, and it should be because it's soaking wet. On the lawn, I can see lots of bottles and papers which have blown into my garden. So when it's drier, I will go outside and pick them up if they haven't blown onto my neighbor's garden by then. I can tell you that the sky looks rather menacing. I don't know if there's a storm approaching, but it's certainly very, very grey. You might remember from the last podcast that I always encourage you to think about how the day makes you feel. Because if you can get in touch with your own emotions, you can then use them to define the day. So, for example, I can tell you that the day looks rather peaceful because that's how I feel. So if you can come up with a few adjectives, the street isn't busy, for example. It's very quiet, so I can say that it's a very quiet day outside. So ask yourself first, how does this scene make me feel? And then it'll give you a deeper way to describe it. So I can say that, for example, being inside and not a lot happening outside, the day makes me feel very peaceful. As people walk past with their parcels and their umbrellas, I can say that the day makes me feel a little bit tranquil. No one's hurrying. So it's kind of like a gentle day. That's how I would describe it. Going on with descriptions, I can see the black fence, which contrasts greatly against the green. The concrete of the roads, which looks, darker than usual, I would say, contrasts greatly with what I see inside. Now, I'm just looking around at different people passing the window. So there's clearly people here who've been out walking, school children, for example, returning to school. And again, that makes the day kind of filled with nice thoughts, happy thoughts, when we see people of all ages walking. The green hedges creep around the corner, probably because the rain has given them so much water, they're kind of protruding onto the concrete. I can also see that the Christmas decorations in my neighbours' houses have all been taken down. So that's a little bit sad, isn't it, after the Christmas period? Sad because that's how it makes me feel, not because it's a sad thing to do. It means that the road looks a little bit plainer than before. Also, I can see the local bus whizzing by, and that reminds me, of course, that I also have to go and buy some shopping. So, yes, adjectives to describe the day would be ones like peaceful, tranquil, happy. And then if we think of how it actually looks outside, we can say wet, but also quiet. And then we contrast, of course, what we see. So the black on the road, the concrete, which looks darker than usual, contrasts greatly against the green. So it's almost like there's a positive and negative fighting one another for dominance. I can also see my neighbor's driveway. Recently, the car has been removed. I think my neighbor has actually passed away. I don't know, because neighbors here generally don't talk to each other. So because her car has gone, there's a certain feeling of emptiness about the place. Something which was once there, which isn't there now, gives maybe something deeper than peace, a little bit of yearning or wanting to see that person again, or at least knowing that they're okay. Aside from that, we have the trees, which of course don't have any leaves on them at the moment, and the rain is hitting the ground. You know, in the summertime, when there's lots of leaves on the trees, you can kind of be protected from the rain. But in these days where the trees are bare, then of course there is no protection. You have to make sure you have your umbrella. Right, so I'm 2 minutes over because I said these podcasts would be no longer than 5 minutes. So I'm at 7 minutes now. So I'll stop there, and I hope you've enjoyed this.